Arr, grog.
Right, I'm going to mute myself. Hold on.
Sip of water.
Mm-hmm. Sip of water. Not that it does any good.
And energy.
Energy,
Come
people,
on,
come
up.
on. Unique New York. Unique New York.
Ella's elegant elephant.
I'm fucking knackered, to be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly. Right, so it's 22 seconds now. Let's not see it tick over to 46 minutes. I'm knackered as well, is what I'm saying.
I
Keri.
honestly didn't know you'd press go. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm not. I wasn't hectoring you. I was just sort of like agreeing I'm tired, but in a very roundabout way. Right.
Keep all that in.
Hey everyone, it's Peter Fickling, Kerry Walbus and Matthew Weir. Hey everyone, it's the Side Shed podcast. It's me, Peter Fickling. Hey everyone. Fucking hell.
That's the best one yet.
Yeah.
Keep that in. Hello, everyone. It's the Cider Shed podcast with me, Kerry Warbis,
And
Peter Fickling.
Me, Peter Fickling.
Fuck off, Matthew. You interrupted me. You twat.
People like continuity. They want my soothing nasal whine to introduce the show, guys. So,
well, that's gone to pot, hasn't it? So, anyway, sex noises.
Well, no, I was going to. My shitty intro was going to be like, have you two ever been on the job while we've been doing the podcast? Like, Matthew's on mute quite a lot of the time. That might explain, what's going on?
Jesus Christ! You think I masturbate while I do this podcast?
Matthew's got a pretty sexy voice.
Is that what you mean?
No. I was just thinking about Tracy. She tried to get on the job at work. I mean, that was agonizing for me to listen to hear Tracy bullied into doing something so stupid. And I don't really feel like she's that stupid anyway. I didn't think it just seemed completely implausible to me that Tracy would go along with it. But, I guess it was a sort of supposed to be a kind of silly / fun plot that kind of moved their relationship on and put sort of some jeopardy in there. Anyway, I had a lot of trouble with it.
Yeah. Jazz's role play voice scared quite a few people, I think, on Twitter.
Well, he was unrecognisable in the mysteries to me until I found out who he had actually been playing. So when he became Denham, what was his
Ruddock.
name? Denham Ruddock,
the stationery
salesman.
You won't sell many things if you stay still, will you?
Very good, Keri.
Come on, bells, please.
Yeah, that deserved the tolling bells.
So I missed it. What do you say?
Go on, have a run up, Keri.
Well, he was a stationery salesman, Peter. You won't sell many things if you stand still.
Okay, yeah, definitely the bells. You're right. Okay, actually, I've got them here, haven't I?
The bells should be the fact that you don't understand.
The fact that you have to be told it was a joke means like it's a double bell, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure your two dedication to shit humor is really my fault. That me getting it or not is a secondary issue. So Jazz's accent threw me a curveball as well. Like I felt like the actor should have done a shitter job. It didn't seem real to me that Jazza would be able to sort of slide into such a convincing kind of like English Lothario voice. But did you think that was just another layer of implausibility to the whole nonsense, or did I not get it?
Oh, it was definitely implausible. Role playing is not implausible, but doing that at work, and actually, again, we spoke about this last week, didn't we? About Chris being a bit pressurizing. Tracy was no, let's not do that, and he's like, he didn't force her to do it, but he kind of did a bit, didn't he?
He did it by sort of making it a challenge, didn't he? It was kind of like, go on, you're basically not the exact words, but it's kind of like you're a goer, you're a fun person, so surely this is, up your street. And also it's like it's too embarrassing to have noisy sex at my house, so let's risk your job. Yeah,
that was very strange. And Paul, I just felt for Tracy, really. And also, when it all went wrong, Jazza actually commented, well, where are we going to be able to have sex now then? That was one of his main reactions to the fact that Oliver had discovered them and they couldn't use the hotel.
Yeah.
Can I just say, as I've worked in a couple of hotels down under, and staff using unbooked rooms for that is quite common.
Is it, Matthew?
Yes, it's not far-fetched at all. Like, I actually quite enjoyed that episode for the pure reason that it's
Okay.
it happens. Another thing that happens is that people who work in the hospitality sector will then go and work for another hotel, and if a bunch of you go out clubbing, and this is purely hypothetical, you just call your friend that now works at another hotel, and they'll put you and a bunch of mates up in a room,
Excellent,
free of charge, that you don't have to pay for in the morning as long as you sneak out.
Okay, I like the sound of that one. That's good. I mean, it's an empty room, isn't it? That's not being used.
But the first one definitely happens as well.
But this one, because Tracy works there because of Oliver, it's the Tracy Oliver relationship, isn't it, that makes this bad? I think it's taking the piss.
And an age and experience thing as well. If you're, a big play was made about Tracy being responsible, not going to, effing off to wherever it was, Madagascar, with Roman. And she had to look after her family. So she's not someone who's, she's not a 22-year-old who can just quickly go and pick up another job, or not, or just stay at living at home with mum and dad. She's the sole breadwinner at home looking after her family.
And she knew it was wrong, didn't she? She knew it was wrong. She was like, no, we can't do that, blah, blah, blah. Dramatically, you just knew that there would be a whoops, there go my trousers moment, didn't you? It was signalled that Oliver was bound. It was all going to go wrong and Oliver would discover. I thought he'd discover them at it, but he didn't. It was...
Catch up, Jazza. Room for a little one. Come on. Ooh, yeah. Let's get Roy. You can go airtight, Tracy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Woohoo!
To take it to its logical conclusion. But it was, I thought, having said it was all a bit implausible and stupid, I did think that Oliver's pomposity was a bit overplayed.
Wasn't he heartbroken, though?
Oh, yeah. Do you think so?
Well, do you remember early on in the Tracy and Jazzer days, he had organised a pizza and beer night or something, and she got talking to Oliver about how he was very worried about Grey Gables and the pandemic and all that stuff, and she stood Jazzer up. And she had dinner with... There was a point when she had dinner with him one night as well, wasn't there? Was that the same evening? I can't remember. And there was a lot of chat about how he does have feelings for Tracy, but obviously the age gap is a bit of an issue. And I felt when Jazzer came into bat for her on that phone call and said, like, she's a pal and she's a mate, coupled with his reaction where he was like, I can see exactly what's going on here. I think he was a little bit crushed.
Yeah, but he knows that they're shagging at home.
He knows, but he doesn't want to see it right in front of him. It was an insult to him. Do you think he'd originally decided to sack her and then he changed his mind?
No, I don't think it's a sacking offence necessarily. Yeah, it was definitely a wrong thing to... Well, they weren't at it, were they? Jazzer was naked in the bed. That's it. Nothing more than that had happened, had it, at that point. I think a final written warning is the right thing to do. I wouldn't have thought he would have wanted to sack her. Definitely.
I know Matthew and his friends were having sex in pretty much every hotel they could lay their hands on for most of the 90s.
It was the noughties.
Thank you for the extra information, Matthew. But I would have thought that was... I think it's understandable that it's the kind of perk that you might sort of... I think it's the kind of perk comes with a certain risk. What do you think, Matthew? You're the expert. Do you think when you and your mates were having sex in hotels against the rules of the house that you knew there was a potential job at risk? Or
well, I have to be very careful what I say now.
He got sacked for it.
I did not get sacked. I got severely told off once, and it wasn't official, and it wasn't. We didn't go the full Big Wednesday. It was just like, a tryst, should we say. And it was actually the head chef that clocked it and called me into the back office and just said, like, just stop that, because if food and beverage spot it and the hotel manager spots it, you're in big trouble. So it was fine.
It's the meat locker, not your meat locker, Matthew. Just, find somewhere else.
But in terms of staying in other people's hotels, that was normally just a bunch of us going back after a heavy night, and someone just did us a favour.
But yeah, this is a small village. She's an asset to the hotel. They are actually friends. It overstepped a mark, but I don't think it overstepped a mark enough for a sacking. I think this is all right, and all it's doing is making us worry about the financial stability of Tracy and Jazza, isn't it? Because they're both perilous at work at the moment.
It's done that very, very well. I mean, I am now terrified for them, and I don't want to have some appalling kind of sub Ken Loach drama playing out for the next couple of months, where we have to hear Tracy and Jazza, dealing with austerity Britain.
Where they're both unemployed, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think either of them will be unemployed. And my theory about Neil stepping down so that Jazza carries on at Barrow that I tweeted about, I reckon that could happen. And then Susan did say, what about retirement? And I know he has said, I'm not ready yet to leave Barrow. I need to help it survive. He will help it survive, but I think he will step down.
You're Michelle Yarwood this week, Keri. You got an accent for every female character, and all of them good.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of hints about, because we've had Mike Tucker in there recently with his pre-diabetes and stuff like this. I don't like the way Susan keeps saying to Neil about, your age and your health. I was like, oh, please wrap that guy in cotton wool. Take him away from the pigs. Like, we don't, I mean, if you told Neil he was about to have a heart attack, he'd probably go, what?
And lay an egg, it sounds like.
Yes.
But the thing is, he maybe should retire, and couldn't he be then hired on some sort of consultancy basis from time to time, so he could, keep him sweet and keep his knowledge going? Because people on Twitter have sort of said, Jazza, hopefully my prophecy will come true, but people are doubting Jazza's management prowess. And I reckon, this is all heading towards Tracy and Jazza just growing up, living together, and Jazza getting a job where he's got some responsibility.
I mean, all they need is when the vacancy comes up is for Denham Ruddock, pig expert, to come in for the interview, and Neil will just make it happen.
There's a classic episode of Cheers where Norm can't manage his crew, so he develops an alter ego to make it happen. So that could, I mean, Cheers is untouchably good. But
at what point did you stop? What point did you give up on Cheers, or what point do you think it lost the plot?
I mean, I'm such a fan. I've watched the whole thing several times.
You're the same age as me, Peter, so probably you remember Cheers in the same way I do, which means you were allowed to stay up late enough to watch it on Channel 4.
Whereas I didn't need permission.
Yeah. Because Keri was a real tearaway 2-year-old in those days.
I was thinking about that today when how much older than you two I am. But anyway, yeah, Cheers is bloody great.
The first episode is a masterclass in character introduction and setup. It's absolutely amazing. But I think I've actually told a few Cheers stories on air before, so I'm gonna pull back. I really hope that Jazza and Tracy do settle down and have a nice, quiet life, because I we've sort of talked in the past about how the Grundys are just horribly pigeonholed as the kind of village whipping horses and sort of like brain dead bumpkins, and I'm worried that Jazza and Tracy might be taking over.
Just say it, Peter. Trazza. And the thing is, they're again working class people who are never actually apparently allowed to have anything nice happen. So that needs to stop. And so these two, they should live together. Surely by now, they're a proper couple, aren't they? He should move in with Tracy, split the bills. It'll be fine. They can be as noisy as they like, within reason, because of the kids. But yeah, I think that should happen.
And our little Twitter community, it's a very kind of like echo chamber environment. Like, we're all you know, obviously there are some different voices, but you know, we're a very particular type of listener. So I don't think it's necessarily true that all 7 million. There's probably a large majority of people who can't stand some of the characters we love and cannot see any value to Kate. But I still feel like that, you know, the Tracy, Jazza, who's another good one, Joy. Some of these characters, their kind of popularity in the real world needs to be reflected in the village. They need to have a bit more heft. Like I want to see, you know, Jazza putting his finger in Brian's chest and saying, "You back down," you know.
Oh no! That can't happen.
but okay, not Brian necessarily. I should have thought, but you know, like picking a fight and winning it. That's what I want to see. I'm sorry, I got on my soapbox a little bit. Then I apologise.
No.
Welcome, comrade Peter.
Yeah, we'll have to cancel you, Peter.
Don't tempt me, Matthew. Come on, with the Chelsea news this week. Don't.
Oh, she wasn't in it this week. Anyway, what did you think of that silly old interview? I loved it.
It was absolutely fantastic. I was doing the tweet along because Keri was, I think, you know, in a rail siding somewhere between London and Brighton, and there was a lot of hate for Kate. While it was going on.
Was there? That's interesting. I really enjoyed that, chucking them both together to see how they could pitch their ideas about rewilding.
Were you able to look past the fact that it was obviously complete bollocks and would never happen in real life?
I was. I don't know why, but I just really wanted to hear them try to battle, I suppose.
I misheard Rex. I thought he said, we'd like you to respond to each other's bitches. I thought they were just going to go head to head. Tell you what, low blow by Kate to mention sustainable weddings in front of Kirsty, isn't it?
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that.
I mean, my first one didn't get out of the vestry, and after the other one, 48 hours later, he was a slave master.
Yeah, not sustainable at all. Yeah, I honestly didn't twig that. But Kate was magnificently horrific, wasn't she, at the beginning? Pre-interview, when she was really patronisingly saying that, Kirsty's ideas about beavers, was it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Peter, Keri, what do you think? Have you ever had experienced negative impact from the introduction of beavers?
I can honestly say only once.
Oh, don't tell us.
No, it's I mean, we have a fairly loose policy when it comes to our private lives and what we'll say on air, but I'm afraid that is, I probably wouldn't even tell you to. It's really horrific.
Oh, great. Oh.
When she said that, is the bell ready, Peter? When Kate said that, I was like, damn, girl.
Ooh.
Yeah. Although, Matthew, your joke before does deserve some kind of opposite sound effect.
Can you play the bell in reverse?
Oh, come on, don't make more work for me.
No, it's okay. I'm just joking.
No, because, and I'll have to put in some kind of time portal-y thing.
We're not the Beatles, Matthew.
It was my bizarre idea to play the xylophone backwards at the end, wasn't it?
Which is great, isn't it?
It's semi-satanic, isn't it?
Was that your idea?
It was.
Oh, okay. All right. It's funny, isn't it? Because like how you forget these things. Because obviously when we set, any creative endeavor, which is obviously part of my day job as well, you get to the end of a project and it's remarkable how many people take credit for all kinds of stuff. And I would have sworn blind that I'd done that on my own. So it's good to know that I didn't. I mean, it's just interesting that I have in my head that was just obviously something I'd done. But
it was nothing to do with me.
I don't think I've ever deleted a single message from our WhatsApp group, so who knows?
Ooh.
Matthew's got all the receipts.
I didn't mean anything by that. I mean, I could go back and find it, but yeah.
February, March the 11th, 2019, you called Keri a dopey and told her to go herself. Not once, but twice.
Sent photos of my soft-boiled egg to Keri. She called me a fucking pussy.
Yes, rightly deserved. Yeah, Kate was protecting Phoebe from Kirsty's flaky ideas. She was being a twat, wasn't she?
I do like the way they tied it off with the bow today, though. where
Mm.
during the never-ending goodbye to Phoebe, it was mentioned that Kirsty, yes, good, the exact correct sound effect there, Keri. They tied it off with a bow and showed that Kirsty had actually listened to Kate, and some of Kate's ideas were, as Peggy predicted, valuable.
Kirsty was really generous in the interview as well, wasn't she? How she presented was, she complimented Kate, didn't she, during her own interview, and was clearly streaks ahead. But for Kate to then say, "I withdraw from the process," and Peggy was like, "I'm very proud of you." It ended perfectly.
Oh, so Peggy and Kate, do you know famously?
They're the same people, yes.
I'm getting Zelda from Terrorhawks, to be honest.
Or from Peggy. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that bit where, she withdrew, as you said, Keri. And then there was that moment where Rex just went, well, and I thought he was going to say, thank for that, Peggy. You don't have to lie to her face.
Yeah, that makes it all. He did literally say that makes it so much easier for us.
Yes.
Yes, it does indeed. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Good old Kirsty, though. She was great.
Yeah, and that moment where Kate and Phoebe were chatting tonight, and Kate said, "Well, Gran has a good Phoebe, you're going to do well. I know that you said goodbye to Gran. Gran has a good instinct for these things." It was like did 20 years ago. Like Peggy went, "You're going to be a cosmic twat, Kate."
That is exactly what she is, isn't it? Yeah, the Phoebe goodbye was slightly torturous, wasn't it?
This is confirmed, definitely, that obviously Kirsty's sticking around. And then we had to hear the lengthy goodbye to Phoebe. But I mean, I personally, I'm very glad it's that way around. I'm not, I just realised that when they were doing the lengthy goodbye, that it's not that I don't care about Phoebe, but I didn't feel any kind of emotion or kind of.
She won't be missed. We'll forget that she existed, I think.
When and I've said this before, when they kind of hint that someone's athletic because they hit a 6, and it's like, oh, you're supposed to just immediately sort of, it's inferred that they're sort of athleticism equals attractive in Archer's world. And, who was it? Alice got a good degree and Phoebe went to Oxford. It's just like, it's like, oh, Phoebe is clever. Phoebe is valuable and worthwhile. It's like, well, she's never particularly struck me as being particularly clever or valuable or worthwhile. Just telling me she went to Oxford is not enough for me to buy into it. So I've always found her a bit kind of humdrum and drab.
Yeah, well, you've just got to look at the Tory Party, really, haven't you?
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, and also grow up in Oxford and Cambridge, which I've done, which will very quickly teach you how stupid people who attend those two universities are. But anyway.
I very rarely shout at the radio. Well, at my phone, in fact, when I'm listening to the Archers. I did it tonight where I kept on saying, "For Scotland." She's leaving for Scotland. It's not the other side of the world. Is it really that big a deal that she's going to... they did actually mention the specific area of Scotland, didn't they? Cause,
was it Aberdeen?
It wasn't Aberdeen. It wasn't Strathclyde or something like that.
No, it was north of Edinburgh in the Highlands.
Yeah, north of Glasgow in the Highlands,
Glasgow,
isn't it? But Roy actually went as far as mentioning the place last week,
didn't he?
But I can't.
Airdrie.
I was going to say Aberystwyth, but that's Wales.
I think it began with an A. Though we're on the right track.
Yeah. The worst thing about this was I'm still getting notifications from Lokomotiv Plovdiv, and I've realised I'm not even supporting the right Plovdiv because Botev Plovdiv are second in the table and they beat Lokomotiv 2-1. I need a new team.
Yeah, you do. What did you think about the parting gifts? It was weird that, first of all, the one that Roy got for a cashmere sweater, that Kate had already also got a cashmere sweater, but a different colour.
Yeah.
That was what?
The only
what
thing
were they doing with all that?
Because you're going to Scotland and it's cold. I think it's that lazy.
Is it? But that for those two to get the same gift, I think they were meaning how... I read more into that than probably I should have done about them both being very kind of close,
intuitive parents
to Phoebe. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I don't know. It's probably bollocks. And then Phoebe got them a bloody goldfish each.
I know that. I mean, and then named them after each other, and they look after each other. I mean, I tell you what, I mean, they stole our thunder a bit when Kate said, I give your goldfish about a week. I mean, the thing is, Kate's married to a quite cold vet. I reckon she's going to come home one day and Jakob's going to be like, long story short, Roy had early onset fin rot and he's in the bin.
What, the person? But the bit I didn't get about that was when in Phoebe's note it said the fish on the left-hand side of the bowl is Roy and the fish on the right hand is Kate. Was that a joke? Or...
She'd superglued them, I think.
Yeah, they were like on skewers or something.
Yes.
I didn't understand that. I perhaps heard it wrongly. I was on a train.
It's just classic Phoebe. Just classic Phoebe, crazy sense of humour.
Was it? Was that what it was? Okay.
Bit late to introduce Phoebe being a chuckle merchant the very moment that she's leaving the show.
I know. I think I just recently followed the actress on Twitter as well. So, you know.
Oh.
And now you're leaving. It's the curse of the cider shed.
You're looking for a new crush, aren't you? Now Fallon's turned into an absolute nightmare.
She
Fallon
has not.
Fallon is saying everything we've all been thinking.
You can tell how pissed off Matthew is, can't you?
Well, yeah, before the show, Matthew, you used a phrase which is where someone's so kind of like stuck in their mindset they can't get out of it. What was it you said?
A self-sealing conspiracy.
Well, Dr. Heal thyself. Looking.
So hang on, what did Fallon do wrong this week? All right, she's been a bit harsh on Amy. We all want to do that. She told Amy to bugger off. We've all wanted to do that. She said, I don't want to hear from you anymore, Amy. We've all felt that. I open the floor.
I rest my case.
I've already hinted at my feelings, Keri. Where do you sit? Somewhere conveniently in the middle?
Ooh, conveniently. No, I don't think so. I'm on Fallon's side.
Oh, okay.
But people are saying that Fallon's kind of changed personality, aren't they?
Fallon's quite a fiery character. I can accept it when she gets quite cross. You know, like it would be weird for me to be upset, to having liked Fallon for this long, to suddenly be kind of astonished that she can kind of like, you know, bear a grudge or get a little bit sort of angsty. But I think what it is just the sort of cognitive dissonance where she has so... she's gone on such a journey to forgive Alice and rebuild her relationship with Alice, given what Alice did with Harrison, that it seems weird that she's being so kind of binary in her assessment of Amy's situation, and especially when Amy very, quite coherently explained her position that, you know, she was aware of her guilt, she was aware she should be guilty, but she was also, you know, at a loss. I mean, this is where the plausibility gets even more shot down. You know, the tractor beam of Chris's, you know, powerful animal magnetism was just too much for her to resist.
Keri, you going first?
Well, what I would like to do, which we don't normally do on this podcast because we're not a certain other podcast, but I'd like to read a tweet which I thought was quite funny about this personality change aspect, and it's by Bagwalla. And it was from today about, well, I'll just read the tweet. They are sharing personalities on a rota system. Kate went into the interview like conniving Hannah, and then in brackets, hate, because it's Kate and Hannah, but emerged as Fallon. Fate. Fallon was bonkers like Kate. Callan. And angry like Hannah. Hallan. And Hannah was briefly nice. Like Fallon. Fanar. Bloody brilliant.
I think that's absolutely spot on. I mean, that's because it basically said it coalesced all of my thoughts over the last couple of weeks into one perfect and, you know, hilariously written little kind of bit of prose. Exactly. Hannah's gone weird. Fallon's gone weird. It's all, and Kate's gone weird, and all in an entertaining way. And obviously, Matthew, you know, I'm not going to risk our friendship by, you know, not giving Fallon a second, third, fourth, fifth, or you know, I'll wait till you give up on her before I do. But it just seemed a bit much for me. But anyway, did you notice, Keri? Matthew sort of said grimly, I'll let you go first, Keri.
No. There's not really much to follow. I think everything Fallon feels was summed up in one line where she said to Amy, "I can't be your confidant."
Yes.
She's totally fucked in this situation, isn't she?
Mm.
Because she's damned either way.
Mm-hmm.
She knows. Does she tell Alice? Or does she protect Amy, and does she protect Chris? And there was that moment where she was about to tell Alice.
Yeah.
And she said, like, she's always been there for me. And Fallon said, Alice. And then Alice said something about, I went to dark places.
Mm.
And Fallon just pulled back, didn't she? And said, I know.
Yeah. And also when Amy was...
When Alan...
Yeah, when Alan... They all begin with A. When Amy was talking to Fallon and sort of, I don't like this situation. Fallon actually said, are you okay? Have you got a tissue?
I thought she was going to say, "Do you?" Because she was being so tough love with her. She was like, "Do you have a tissue?" And Amy was going, "No, I don't." And she was like, "What tough shit?"
Yeah, or shove loads of them in her throat or something.
She went to the cafe and was like, "I can't talk to you, Amy. I'm too busy." And she went, "But there's nobody here." And she was like,
with her siren voice.
Because we do a little proof listen to the podcast before it goes out, and Keri had this theory last week that Amy goes up and down when she's talking, and you sounded a bit like Les Dennis doing Mavis from Coronation Street.
I don't really know.
Yeah, but and I thought this, and maybe this is part of the attraction for Chris, sounds a bit like a horse. Woo! So maybe that's why, kind of, maybe like he's got some weird fetish. As she falls asleep, he's going to start hammering horseshoes into her soles.
I really hope he does hammer some horseshoes.
She won't be able to get down those steps clip-clopping down the treacherous steps.
You'd be able to hear her coming then, wouldn't you? Oh, that sounds right. You can avoid her because you'd hear her clopping. That's what I meant, not anything else. Yeah, I'm on Fallon's side. The worst bit about Fallon this week, I thought, was that silly old scene where there was Alice, Fallon and Amy together. Alice totally didn't know what the hell was going on, and Fallon was really just getting annoyed with everything Amy was saying.
I loved it.
Yeah, because we get annoyed with everything Amy's saying as well. And obviously to Alice, it was like, what are you doing? Why are you being so weird? And then Amy went, oh, I've got to go. I've suddenly remembered I need to be somewhere else.
Yeah, she every weekend, or no, every weekday, she has to cook Alan and Usha dinner, doesn't she? I've got to go. Just suddenly remembered I've got to cook them dinner again.
And also, she's gone to Nottingham to help her friend study midwifery exams. And as Peter pointed out earlier, she's left the dogs to be dog walked by who?
Well, Elvis has left the building.
Yeah, has Peter gone to sleep?
I was just thinking the listeners might think I've been kicked off the pod for anti-Fallon comments earlier on. No, I'm here. I was just enjoying you guys chatting. It does happen occasionally. Yeah.
Ooh, good one.
Come on, Keri. That wasn't too bitchy, was it? No, I don't think so.
Oh God, no, not at all. No. God, it'll take more than that, love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I'm so tired and beaten down by life, Keri. This is how oversensitive I've gotten that I even questioned the Warby skin. The hide.
Listen, I'll give you a right big hug when I meet you, possibly on April the 1st, if you can come along.
That'll be crazy. I just can't get my head around actually. I've seen Keri. I've listened to Keri. I've never smelt Keri. Am I ready for the combination of Chanel and beef dripping or hit my nostrils at the same time? It's going to be.
Well, Matthew liked the smell of me. So
yeah, Tommy girl loved it.
Yeah. I got a new bottle given to me by Mimi for my birthday last Saturday, amongst other tremendous gifts. She's a gift giver extraordinaire, but she actually arranged for some Cider Shed merch to be made for me as presents. There was a beautiful coaster of us three, you know, our brilliant logo that you made, Peter. And she made a book within which are our 5-star reviews. I mean, and then she kept reading them out during my birthday. Good grief. My ego was well stroked that day.
Keri, I mean, elephant in the room. I spent 500 quid on that cameo from Brian Ferry, for sake.
Oh my God, that was so funny. I'm sorry it took me so long to come across it, but and I did, but I was in birthday mode and then you had to nudge me towards it. It was tremendous. You're singing. I mean, Brian's singing.
Well, I mean, Keri, you've let the cat out of the bag here, because it was a couple of people actually spotted it was me singing and not Brian. But I think I did such a peerless, unassailable version. I've had a couple of people DM me to say they'll never listen to Roxy music again on the back of that. So I think I did a really good job.
They're idiots. Whoever they are. Did you see that, Peter?
I did. For people who it was a fantastically done. Production values were not quite as high as Matthew's, the quality of Matthew's voice. If you want a picture, you think kind of like, but also comedy values and production values, very much like Vic and Bob. So kind of very found object style kind of props. It was like was it a picture of Brian Ferry with then the mouth kind of on like a cocktail stick or something?
I've kept the original props and I will give them to Keri in person at some point.
Thank you. It was so brilliant. His mouth just going up and down, up and down.
It was literally, I just cut a bit out of his mouth. I double printed it and then just pulled it up and down on a piece of card.
I am honoured. Thank you for your efforts.
Vic and Bob meet Terry Gilliam's animations for Monty Python would be the best way. Yeah.
Oh, it was absolutely that. Yeah.
So, guys, I think we have yet again done a fantastic job. I mean, unimpeachably good job of covering a week in the Archers. That's what we're here for. If people want to continue the conversation on Twitter, where do they go, Keri?
At the Cider Shed Pod is where you'll find us on Twitter. Still edging towards that 2,000 followers. Honestly, we've had loads joining us this past week. Bloody tremendous. So keep that
Things
coming.
are going well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Very good.
And Matthew, you're doing fine work on Instagram and Facebook, I believe.
Yes, we are the same handle as Twitter on Instagram at the Cider Shed Pod, and we have a Facebook group called the Cider Shed Podcast. Had some lovely new messages there this week. Nina just found us and is going back through our back issues, if that's the word, and enjoying them and laughing a lot. So clearly she's she's insane. No, we love you, Nina. Thanks. That was a lovely message.
We've had a whole bunch of new 5-star reviews. So thank you so much to people who have contributed to those. They were without words. So anyone who's brave enough to add comments to a 5-star review, go for it.
It's much appreciated. And we have had, I think I hinted earlier on that we've had some really good numbers recently. We've had another little bump in listenership. And we were already very happy with the way things were going, but it's been a fantastic couple of weeks, and I'm feeling very buoyed, very excited, especially when, given the crudity of some of the last couple of podcasts, the fact that people keep on listening is, very heartening. So, guys, we will be back again next week, all three of us, I think. Actually, that's the point. When someone disappearing, when's the next person off? I don't even know.
Ooh. Are you pitching for a week off, Peter?
I think it's the full set for a while, isn't it? So, yeah. So, please listen again next week. Thank you so much as always, and have a good one.
See you next week.
See you in room 210, everyone. Bye.
I filthy beast.